Recently, I decided once and for all to quit smoking. A little backstory, I'm almost 23 now, and I started to smoke when I was 19 years old, almost 19 years old. Then I smoked for like half a year, then I quit smoking for 2 years, and recently I've been kind of relapsing, being on and off smoking. So when day two rolled around of this new commitment to quit smoking, I had a really big urge to go and smoke. Before I smoked this electronic cigarette that I decided, as a way to get rid of it, decided to give it to my dad, as he was and is a full-on smoker all of his life pretty much, and I know that he's not going to change to quit it. Since I gave it to my dad, I could always get it back from his garage where he keeps it. And so when I got this urge, I did just that. I went downstairs and I got it. I held it in my hands, looked at it, and contemplated whether I should smoke or not. After a while of painful anxiety, I put the electronic cigarette back into the garage without smoking. All of the anxiety then just melted away as the indication that I held back from this temptation, and meaning found me again and was the reason why I didn't indulge. For the first time in a while, I feel like I can go on as long and or longer without smoking as I feel the way I did when I went on that 2 year no smoking streak. I believe I was able to go that long because I discovered the meaning behind not smoking and went back to smoking because I kind of lost the purpose behind it. You see, meaning lasts a long time, if not for the rest of a person's life. But as that person grows and improves, that meaning sometimes has to be reevaluated and sometimes rediscovered. I feel like I have rediscovered this purpose on this one life aspect of this not smoking, but it's going to affect me in all areas of my life. I believe having a purpose and following it is the meaning of life. And if you have discovered your meaning, you probably agree with me. If you haven't, then in this video, I want to talk about why having a purpose is so important and how it will change your life. The true purpose, first of all, is a feeling that you feel once you engage in something meaningful. It's the feeling of being in the right place at the right time, doing something that, even if difficult, is rewarding in itself and in the future. Secondly, the purpose is a productive activity and a deep understanding that this is where you need to be. And whenever you feel down or unmotivated or just think that you can't keep going, this purpose always has your back and you keep going according to it. Nowadays, we are always pushed to think that happiness is our purpose in life. Reaching happiness and maintaining it is the most important thing. This happiness, however, is not a state of satisfaction, but it's actually a state of always chasing something that we can't grasp for long. It's about chasing anticipation and a short indulging in pleasure. Naturally, we can never feel satisfied, as the nature of pleasure always pushes a person to consume more and can never be attained long term. The true purpose is the opposite. It actually gives you something that is long term, or as mentioned, for life. It will pick you up when you fall. It will feel great to engage with it, and it will always stick with you. So now let's look how you can find your purpose of life, or at least take that first step toward walking the right path. The true meaning of life is different for everybody, but the foundation is the same. You have to realize that in order to discover this purpose, you will experience pain and sacrifice. Nothing great in life comes easy, especially not finding one's true calling. The pain and sacrifices will come from the beginning to learn yourself, as that is the only way to discover true meaning. One thing you could do that I've heard from the writer Robert Greene is that you could try looking at your past. Remember when you were a kid or a teenager, what excited you the most? I'm talking here about activities that came from some kind of work or skill building. Sure, going out to eat with your friends or playing video games all night may have felt exciting, but you're not going to find meaning in that. For example, ever since I was in primary school, I found out that creating stuff was exciting. Whether it was writing and creating books, making these horrible films with my phone, and when I was a teenager, filming and especially editing, I found out that I was this person who needed to have some sort of a creative outlet. That's why I'm sitting here in front of you and talking. I get immense meaning from creating these videos, and when I have to kind of research them, when I have to just sit down, think and read and just research all of this philosophy and psychology. You should also look into your past and think about one of these moments that could indicate what your life could be now. The reason I mentioned that this will require pain and sacrifices is that, for example, maybe you are thinking of your past and you don't even remember these types of moments, or maybe you don't even think that you had any of those moments. And even when you think you have discovered your purpose, you might be wrong. It's okay to think that, because most people feel the same way. Even though I told you the story of me being more into creativity when I was growing up, this doesn't mean that I have figured it all out. And because every day I'm still learning and trying to improve. What I have figured out is that following this meaningful path gives me purpose, and it's way better than not having it at all. The reason that purpose is a productive activity and not some kind of a pleasure is because when you engage in it, you enter the flow state. The flow state is a mental state where a person just loses himself or herself in an activity, and time and surroundings just melt away, and that person experiences deep satisfaction. The flow state is pretty much meaning. Now, of course, you can enter the flow state when there is no clear meaning, like, for example, playing video games. But those things kind of simulate that meaning. They simulate our desire for meaning and trick us. That's how pleasures work pretty much. They disguise themselves as meaningful. However, a truly meaningful activity will not only bring satisfaction, but will bring you character building, improvement, and skill building. Once you found your purpose in life, remember that even though this state is for the long term, you can't lose it. And if you do, you will have to search for it again. That's why you need to engage in this purposeful activity daily, because meaning is not always fun. It's not always about just your passion. You will experience days where you experience that pain or those sacrifices, but if you escape that pain into just instant gratification that you get from pleasures, then you might lose something truly important. Let me know in the comments down below what meaningful activity you have in your life, or maybe if you don't, what steps will you take in order to discover or rediscover it? If you want to learn more about how to discover the meaning of your life, you can check out this video on the right of the screen. And besides that, thank you so much for watching, and remember, meaning is always above pleasures.